Welcome back to Judged by the Cover. It is time for my 2025 wrap-up. I'm so excited to share with you all how my 2025 reading experience has been. It felt like a really, really long, loaded year, but somehow I still met my reading goal. I'd planned to read 75 books and I read 104. In total, I read 27,399 pages. So I'm proud of myself. I participated in 2 readathons. Before 2025, I'd actually never participated in a readathon before. So in March of 2025, I participated in Realmathon, which is put on by some other girls, and it was so fun. So then after that, me and 2 other friends, Simon and Abby, decided we would do our own readathon, and we did that in October, Booktober readathon. So that is the second readathon that I participated in 2025. So I'm going to show all of the books that I read in 2025. And now that you've seen all of the books that I read in 2025, I'm going to break it down a little bit. My shortest book was The Hillside by Jane Smiley. It was a little Amazon short story, 16 pages. I gave it 1 star, so that really went well for me. The longest book was The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, 652 pages, and I gave that 4 stars. I was very, very pleased with that. It was the first time I'd read it. I'm definitely behind on the game of like catching up with the Hunger Games situation. I still haven't watched the movie though. I just realized that. My most read author was Riley Sager, and that's because I just discovered him in 2025. And then when I discover an author that I really like, I read every single book that they've ever written. So I read 9 of his books in 2025, which I'm pretty sure is like, oh, pretty much all of them, I think. How many books did I read in each month? With a little explanation of why it might be so much or why it might be so little. In January, I read 12 books. Obviously, I wanted to start the year off hot. In February, I read 9 books. Pretty good. In March, I read 11 books. So, obviously, I was trying to pick up the pace for Ramadan. In April, I read 0 books, because plot twist. In May, I read 11 books because I found myself to be sitting a lot. In June, I read 3 books. Don't really know what happened there. In July, I read 6 books. Average. In August, I read 11 books. Picking up the pace. In September, I read 13 books. Picking up the pace a little more. You think 13 books in a month is a lot? Just you wait. In October, because we were doing a readathon, I read 24 books. I started and finished 23 of them in the month of October, and then one of them I didn't read the entire thing in October, but I read the majority in October. I technically finished like the last little bit on November 1st. Pretty much I read 24 books in October. That's the most books I've ever read in an entire month. Like that's at least 6 books a week-ish on average, quick maths. That's insane. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that for this month for our January readathon, but that's neither here nor there. In November, I technically finished the book that I started in October, but it was barely anything. So I didn't read in November. I was in the biggest reading rut of my life because I full sent in October, and then in November I was so burnt out I didn't read a single book. And then in December I read 4 books. So I mean, that's 1 a week, and the holidays are super busy, so I wouldn't expect anything more. Now, as for my ratings, let's break that down. I gave 5 books 1 star. I gave 11 books 2 stars. I gave 21 books 3 stars. I gave 40 books 4 stars. And I gave 27 books 5 stars, which kind of feels like a lot. Um, like that's more than 2 a month-ish. I just feel like I didn't read that many 5-star books, but I guess I did. My worst 3 reads were all short stories that were like Amazon Prime picks that I read during the readathon. Hazel and Grey by Nick Stone, 1 star. Shell Game by Riman Alam, 1 star. And The Hillside by Jane Smiley, 1 star. And then for this video specifically, I'm going to talk about my top 10 from 2025. I made a video like for 12 Sleeps Till Christmas with my top 5 of 2025, and after fully evaluating and like doing a deep dive into all the books I read in 2025, I kind of realized maybe I would move some of those out of my top 5, even my top 10, and move some in. So I'm going to talk about my top 10 here. Just go ahead and acknowledge now that they're a little bit different than what you might have heard before, but it's fine. All 10 of these I gave 5 stars. Obviously, how would a book be in my top 10 if I didn't give it 5 stars? We have Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson, Fearless and Fearful by Lauren Roberts, Night Shift by Alex Finlay, Final Girls by Riley Sager, Famous Last Words by Gillian McAllister, That's Not My Name by Megan Lally, Society of Lies by Lauren Lane Brown, Watch Me by Tahara Mafi, and Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. Those weren't in any specific order, it's just kind of the order that I typed them. So it's not first through 10th, it's just these are all equally my top 10 for 2025. I'm not going to pick favorites. I am proud of the reading journey that I took in 2025. I read more books than I expected to read. I participated in my first readathon and then my second as well. I read a lot more with friends. I did more buddy reads. I started my booktube in October. So my reading journey in 2025, I think I'm becoming a big girl. Thanks for watching Judged by the Cover.